Well, I told myself when I wanted to kick this channel back up again, I was going to avoid drama and anything related to that because I wanted to talk about basketball. I wanted to enjoy the games. I wanted to put more effort into that side of things. However, WNBA is on the exemption list now because they just can't get out of their own way. And a lot of you may have seen this posted today, and you probably had a very similar reaction to that I did, which was what are we what? Like there's no details here. And as someone that was also curious, I thought that I would do the legwork. So if you are still confused, or maybe you've seen some videos that have given some details, etc., I've done some of the legwork, and I'm gonna kind of run you through the whole kind of series of points that has led us to this point. But without further ado, let's talk about the timeline of events that have kind of led us to this point and what I feel like is happening and why it is happening in this moment. So, last year, if you remember from the playoffs, Alyssa Thomas, great player, fiance of DeWanna Bonner, who is now Indiana Fever player, but was they were on the Suns together last year. And afterwards, after one of the games, Alyssa Thomas, in a post-game press conference, made some comments about how that there were hateful comments. I've never heard anything like that that are directed towards me and my teammates. And then later, it kind of got shifted to specifically focusing on online comments. And I think the problem space of online comments is a real thing. It's a thing that the WNBA is battling with, especially last year, coming at all their players, getting more eyes, more views, more notoriety. And they've been trying to figure out a way to combat that. And so on May 15th, so before the season's kind of really getting underway, they announced the WNBA No Spaces for Hate Act. And so the whole thing was like, this is a multi-dimensional platform designed to combat hate and promote respect across all WNBA spaces, from online discourse to in-arena behavior. And the things they talk about in this is like promotions during the games, like moments to call this out before and during games. They have a brand new code of conduct for fans to follow, and they're going to strictly enforce it. And then they also, the one that kind of made me cringe a little bit was they said they're going to use AI tools to scan social media. And I think while this sounds good, AI is really just a buzzword that a lot of people are using to get money out of investors or businesses that have money to throw around. And AI sounds good. You got companies adding AI to their name to try to boost their stock price, that kind of stuff. AI can be very useful if used and developed correctly. That although my question is with all of this, and I think the tough spot that the WNBA is putting them in is what's leading to this. And funny enough, on Friday, after a practice, Asia Wilson actually said in an interview that, hey, these are nice words, but we're going to have to actually see action, right? So fast forward to May 17th, and the Fever Sky game happened. The Fever won by 35 points. It was a blowout. There was the dust up between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, which was very one sided. Angel Reese was upset about it, had to sit out for a while to come back into the game to cool down and go on and get destroyed. But off of this, that's when social media took over. And I'm going to be honest, like social media, like the internet is a great tool. It is, you can learn anything that you want to learn. It connects people in ways that we never had before. And as someone that's kind of grown up with the internet, I think it's, while it's a great tool, it's also the place where mentally ill people can just scream really loud over everyone else and spew their stuff onto the internet and get in the space and make and get validation when you should not have any validation for the things that you're promoting or saying, because sometimes they're just false. And as we get into a world of AI and deep fakes and all sorts of stuff, it's only going to get worse, especially with this stuff, especially if that kind of stuff is getting this reaction from an organization that is now saying that, hey, like we have this big initiative, no space for hate, and we got to protect it and we got to show action. So we're going to hunt down and investigate the leads. We can't say, oh no, we don't know what we're gonna do about it because we have this platform. We said we're gonna do it. And so sure enough, on social media, there were a few videos. So one of them was Angel Reese taking free throws, and someone subtitled it saying that it said that Angel Reese was a monkey. And then when people actually like listen to the audio, it's kind of one of those things where like if you if you read a different word, you'll hear it in the audio. So maybe some people were tricked. I didn't hear it because I was saying the same thing, not that thing. But what was actually being said was the ball don't lie, because she had the flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark and she misses the first free throw, and a lot of people start chanting ball don't lie, ball don't lie. But apparently this person tried to, again, race bait for a better term. And so now that person deleted all their stuff. So then the other video came out, which was, and during the actual WNBA broadcast, to be clear, someone near the mic, people said it was being broadcast over the stadium. I think that's not true, because I think it was someone close that had like a phone or a noisemaker or something to make the noise. But basically, they were saying that fans were making monkey noises at Angel Reese.
Chicago will maintain the basketball.
And I think that that's probably the thing that got super viral that might have, which has since been deleted, of course, but might have gotten the attention of the WNBA to take action and start this, because it's starting to lean towards something directed at Angel Reese, which kind of pins it and hones it in on that free throw moment. So the problem is that sound is made by a streamer. His name is Flight Reacts. He has a YouTube channel. He makes lots of weird sounds during a lot of his stuff. It's a gimmick of his. And this is one famous one where he laughs kind of like this dolphin laugh. And that's what it is. It's someone playing that sound, whether it was the Indiana Fever. We sure don't play that sound going forward, but it sounds like it was a fan based on the footage I've been able to put together, because it's on broadcast. But another fan who was there and was behind, I think, the Fever bench, shot the moment, and in it you hear a bunch of people booing and people cheering when Angel Reese misses the first free throw and after. But I never heard the dolphin sound in the stadium like people are claiming. People were saying that they were there, and all the fans were doing this, and obviously they weren't there, and people lie on the internet and because they want attention, and here we are. So basically, as far as I know, a fan played another streamer's dolphin sound, and that got rolled into this whole investigation, is my guess. Maybe there's something else that we don't know about. Who knows? WNBA was vague. So then we go on to the next point, which is a lot of people were also talking about, hey, you have this strict fan code. You're going to bar people that don't meet this fan code from WNBA spaces and platforms, all that kind of stuff. Now, the problem is that one of the people there that people are upset about is Dave Portnoy, who, he's a jackass that also likes to get attention by doing outlandish things and posting bets and all this stuff. But he bought a courtside ticket. He wasn't there as a special Indiana Fever guest. He bought a courtside ticket because he can. He has the means. He has a bunch of money. He also bet. I think he bet he bet on Caitlin Clark getting a triple double and paid off. But whatever. I don't really care about that. But if they do, he has said a lot of dumb things that if you feel like he's a bad representative or has made any hostile comments towards players, which I haven't necessarily seen evidence of personally, but if he has, then yeah, sure, ban him. But then at the same time, you also have Antonio Brown, who was so bad online that Caitlin Clark, I mean, he's bad everywhere. Guys going through it. But he made such bad comments towards Caitlin Clark last year that Caitlin Clark blocked him, just straight up blocked him on social media. And then even though she did that, the dude showed up courtside to her games. So if we're actually going to have a bar of like, hey, a player blocked this person because they were saying really, I mean, like if you go back and look, it's unhinged. And I would have blocked him too. I think most people would block Antonio Brown, honestly. But yeah, he showed up courtside. So if we're protecting player safety, and last year we didn't have this program, now like obviously the WNBA is not going to tell us who's on this blacklist, right? But if they are, then there should be a blacklist, and Tony Brown should probably be on it if you're really like making a player that uncomfortable. And they should look, they should they should be kind of upfront more and talk about the actions they have taken to give themselves more credibility instead of saying this is what we're gonna kind of do but not show any of it in action. So with that said, let's go to the comments that came out today, which is the WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league or in society. We are aware of allegations and are looking into the matter. The WNPA is aware of a report of hateful comments at yesterday's game in Indianapolis and supports the WNBA's current investigation into the matter. Such behavior is unacceptable in our sport. And the problem with this is they've really just kind of focused it again on before it was the WNBA are condemned the Indiana Fever fans. Now, again, the Fever fans are being the focus of things for what is fabricated things online. I don't think that it has anything to do with Dave Portnoy, because if it did, then they would like there's a clear target. You could say that you could kind of be more specific about that in your investigation. Uh, but ultimately, I think the problem is alongside all of this, meanwhile, the Indiana Fever players are just being bombarded, mainly the black players, with N words, with C words. If you can think of it, it probably exists and has been targeted at them. And to then basically hone it all in on the Fever fans in the game feels awful. It's terrible. It's you have this awesome moment where everyone's supposed to be excited. It's the kickoff for your league. All the first games are going down. There's amazing, like record-breaking performances and all these things to be excited about. And then you kind of just put a wet blanket over all of it with this very vague statement condemning the basically Fever fans for things that were said towards a player. But even then, they're not even fully specific, and bits and pieces are coming out from journalists like asking for a specific comment. And I think the problem is they bit on a lot of the social media stuff. They kept getting bombarded by it, and now that they have this program, they're like, we have to respond. And that's the pickle they're in, because now if they want to do it, like if bad actors or people that are actually hateful want to mess with the WNBA or cause a stir, they can do this again. They can force the hand because they don't want to deal with the influx and the comments of people being misinformed and bombarding them. And so they're just going to say, hey, we're investigating it, and condemn, and in doing so can condemn or put a bad light on the people and confirm for those people, validate them in a way before an investigation goes through. But the other problem is I don't think they actually have the tools to investigate this stuff in any way that will give satisfying remedy, right? Like if it really was, unless like they have a specific individual targeted, who knows what's actually going on. But if it's any of the social media stuff, it's already been debunked. It's been debunked before they even pretty much released their statement. And I caught little bits of this from other channels. I think Mick actually made a video, and when I first saw his video, I was like, it was, I think it was like yesterday or something like that, last night. I was like, oh, like there's nothing going to become of this. Like it's social media. Like if there is something valid, like they'll investigate it and then they'll talk about it or something, or like they're not going to like poo poo everything right now. And sure enough, nope. The voices were too loud, and here we are. And so I, I don't think that the fans deserve this. I think booing your opponent is normal. Heckling your opponent is normal. Obviously, there's a line. The fan base at Gamebridge has a significant amount of children, fans of the players, and also including Angel Reese. I'm sure were there, and to then kind of create this kind of now like twice you've targeted this fan base as being hateful is unfair to the fan base. And I will say from personal experience, I went to a lot of games last year. I did a whole road trip across the US, and along that road trip I went to a bunch of games, and I'm not going to pretend that while I was there at those games, I didn't feel hateful comments or hear hateful comments from people. A lot of them, none of them were Indiana Fever fans at players. It was usually players, mostly at Melissa Smith, believe it or not. And there may be a joke about that, they were a Fever fan, but it wasn't about her play. Okay, well, we can just say that, and I that was shocking to me a little bit. But I will say the vast majority of fans, no matter who they were, where they were all like felt like this really tight community. They all had their little rituals during every free throw, like special stuff, like mascots, Ellie, all these kind of things that like felt like whenever I was going to a stadium, I was getting a kind of unique experience based on that fan base. And I thought it was a really cool experience. And the few one or two people that I heard in the crowd saying crap, uh, it was not to the point where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a hateful environment." It was like this person has just gone a little bit overboard on the fandom. And I don't think that even if, those people, like let's just say somehow an investigation was sprung on, the Liberty fan base for hateful comments towards Melissa Smith, the chance that they like figure out who that person is, discipline it, have any action is probably not realistic. And so I think that again, the WNBA has put themselves in an awful position because they have this campaign. They have one of their top players, Asia Wilson, already saying, "Hey, you have to show us action." And I think that honestly, out of everything they've talked about, the best thing that they have, as corny as it sounds, is their pregame and during game campaign spots. So, building the culture of community that doesn't tolerate hate, and that will help fans police that environment because I think that often what happens at games is everyone's cheering, and if you hear some random jackass behind you yell something, usually unless they're like really belligerent, like you're not going to turn around and stop them or whatever like that. But if the group and the consensus, and you're constantly building up this community of people that don't want to tolerate that, don't want to be targeted, don't want to be called out by the WNBA as this hateful fan base, then they probably are going to police more heavily. And it still may not even stop the comment from flying out of the person's mouth, but it definitely won't make them sit down and stay. And or it might get them removed. I mean, Caitlin Clark even called out a fan last year that said something off the wall during that Sun game. So it wasn't just at the Sun players. Like the hate can be there. And while the WNBA has said that like, hey, we're gonna do stuff, I think that like trotting out like AI and stuff like that until they start to show like, hey, we've kicked out X amount of fans because of hateful behavior or breaking our code of conduct, or like, hey, we've taken action on this many accounts online because of hate towards our players. Until they show those metrics, the policy is not like the campaign's not really going to have teeth or legs, because really it's just going to be a vulnerability that allows people to get investigations done and stir up drama. And I don't think that's what the league needs. I don't think that's what the fans want. And I don't think the Fever fans deserve it. So ultimately, I just want to enjoy basketball. Like, I just want to talk about basketball. There are a lot of really cool games going on. There's a lot of really cool rookie performances going on this year. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good as the 2024 class, but we're seeing rookies pop off and have impact, and have their little spark moments early in the season. And I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to see Paige Beckers develop this year. I want to see Dominique come into her own. I want to see Sonia, and I want to see Kiki continue to pop off. Um, I think that there is they can add real impact for their teams, and that's the kind of stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about all the amazing performances and change-ups that have happened this year, and I'm gonna be making that recap content. So stay tuned for I'm gonna do an opening week uh, recap of all the games if you missed them, and kind of a updated tier list based on the performances, and then yeah. But that's the type of stuff I want to talk about, not this. And I wish the WNBA would really just get their stuff together, their communications, their PR, get together and just say like, hey, we we have this celebratory moment. We have this new thing. How do we be effective with our no hate program? Like, I think that they would be better served by just do the investigation. And then if you find out that the things are valid, like if like any of the Twitter stuff that was created was real and you found the evidence and you wanted to talk, then you could talk about it or talk about it. But if you do the first pass and it's already debunked, then you making this statement is harmful to your sport. It's harmful to the fan bases that are involved. Just do some due diligence, please. That's that it shouldn't be a lot to ask, but like I think that it is the right thing to ask. And I don't care if you're being bombarded by people to investigate it. Do your due diligence. So, lastly, I look forward to the free wins, the four more free wins we're gonna get from the sky this season. And tell me what you think about this whole saga. Was this helpful? Was this enlightening to you? Do you now feel caught up? How do you feel about all the stuff that's going down and the WNBA handling of it? And yeah, remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. I'll catch you next episode.